Good evening, this is your Galactic Federation team with Abby.
Thank you for coming. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We're very grateful for these opportunities.
Yes, we know.
Highlight of my day.
Now, how may we be of service?
Well, you can explain to me what is all this Orion stuff about, that trying to do something to the planet and collecting information on our cell phones to use against us later on, and there was some kind of thing that was going on in the month of March where they were trying to do something, I forget what it was called, and we were supposed to be careful and protective and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what's the deal with that? What's going on, and did we protect the planet, or?
So you are speaking of the other channel's reference regarding the Orion group collecting information from our thought forms through the use of artificial intelligence within our devices.
Yes, to use it against us.
Well, those words exactly were not used but implied.
Right, exactly.
And the caution from the channel being to guard your thoughts carefully and remain as thoughtless and mindless as possible in the presence of devices. Well, first we would say, obviously, it is very common knowledge to all of humanity that those who use devices, their use of the device is constantly collecting data.
Yes.
That is very common knowledge.
But mostly to try and sell us stuff.
Yes.
This sounds like they're doing it to try and control us.
Well, the two are not different.
Yeah, that's true.
But we would say, we are not sure where, we hear you say this idea of everything is going to crash and money is going to be no good and so on, and this is not a determined trajectory of the earth.
Right.
The possibility is that business and commerce can become very enlightened and of high consciousness and can be steered by and used lovingly by conscious humanity for the good of all, as a means of exchange and as a practical means of operating in 3D material life. So you must be careful, very careful about things that, as we have said before, things that you think and things especially that you say. Because the more you say it, the more you reinforce it in your mind, and the more you reinforce it in your mind, the less likely you are to be open to other possibilities. And at every stage, we are in the stage of creation. At every stage. And so, when you make such a comment that this is going to happen, crash, and money is not going to be worth anything, and so on, you are operating on the presumption that it is a predetermined end over which you have no control, and that is not so.
No, possibility, but I'm pretty sure that somebody told us through channeling that we should get ourselves to be the most reliant we can, so...
That is different than saying that money will be obsolete or everything will crash. The trouble is that you're making inferences. The channel which you are referencing was an encouragement to you to be as independent as possible.
Yes. But somebody, I don't know who, maybe it was Cryon, but don't hold me to that, said that we will get to a point to where money will be useless and et cetera, et cetera. And I know, yes, I need to be more careful, yes. And I understand that is not a certainty, but
there is a large problem in this doomsday and dark forecasting. It causes an increase in darkness and in hopelessness and meaninglessness.
Well, not to me. To me, I think this is a good thing. I think out of this will change the planet. I think that, doing away with money, us taking care of one another.
Well, there are very highly enlightened species and races, such as the Sirians, who still have methods of exchange that you would think of as money, and they operate in this way with great love and discernment and equanimity.
Yes, I understand that, but I'm pretty sure that so I need to be more discriminate. I need to be able to see what is being saying. What's the word? Not to believe everything I hear, because I'm almost 100% sure that somebody said that, like, in 3 to 5 years, with money, we won't be using money. There'll be very little.
Not through this channel.
No, you're right. Maybe that was actually something on Gaia. Maybe it wasn't even a higher evolved being. Maybe it was something on Gaia. But then how do I prepare for the possibility of that without giving it energy? Or do I not, or should I just forget it and just go with the flow? Whatever happens, happens, and trust that that the vessel will be taken care of.
Well, this vessel will be taken care of, regardless of what is happening.
Okay. I guess I need to believe that. If I believe that, then I won't worry. Okay.
Everything is possibility.
Yes.
And it is inadvisable for one such as yourself to give attention to a negative trajectory or outcome, as others will follow. And your thought forms are powerful, and your words are powerful, and your words are leading for others. And so it's really for you to say. It is for you to say what the future will be. If you want the dollar to be strong, if you want to have many dollars with which you can invest as spiritual energy in the raising of the consciousness of the planet, then create that. If that's what you want, this vessel imagines that the dollars that she has represent yours and her spiritual energy, your very life source, light energy. These dollars are representative of that, and they can be used to fund and resource others who will raise the level of consciousness of the planet. That is her imagination.
Yes, my imagination, based on my past experience, is like at the ranch in Oregon, is where We did not need money, but everybody was taken care of with everything, and we did not use money. And maybe that's why I see it that way. Maybe that's my imagination, because that just seemed to be so wonderful that I could just go get gas in the truck that I was driving. I could go into the cafeteria and eat food, and I didn't have to worry about taxes, and I didn't have to worry about money at all. And if I needed money to go to Portland for some reason, they'd give me the money to drive there or whatever. That seemed to me to be like the perfect remedy for me, just me, having lived that. And so that's my
Well, this was your experience of heaven on earth, of nirvana, of paradise, of moksha. This was your experience.
Right.
Well, you can recreate that, or even something grander if you'd like.
That's what I'd like to do.
And you must not suppose that any channel or any other source to which you listen has more authority than your own. And each one who listens to channels about the future, will invest whatever fears they have in the interpretation of that channeled message, including this one.
Okay, so the channel that we just listened to really, really sounded like, and he was channeling the Palladians, supposedly. It really felt like that was true to me. And
it is true. Okay. And what he said is that the Orion group collects data about each light worker from their thought forms through their devices, primarily their handheld devices, and this is accurate.
To be used against us later on.
But he did not say to be used against us. He said they were gathering data.
Okay.
And implied that one should be cautious about one's thought forms.
I'm going to go back through there, because I'd almost swear that he said that they could use it against us at a later time. But anyway, okay.
Well, why would the Orion group gather data about you from your thought forms?
Personally, I don't care. There's no reason other than if they want to find out how I think so they can learn how to manipulate me.
Yes, and that was the inference, and that is correct.
Oh, okay.
Because this particular group desires to keep humanity caught in their own thought emotion loops.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So that they will not move towards evolution.
Yeah, that was. I guess I don't do a good job of explaining myself, but that's what I was thinking.
So all that is needed is to live in awareness and consciousness.
Okay.
What are your own thought emotion loops? One thought emotion loop that you're currently in is this thought emotion loop that the end is coming and your money will be worthless and you must prepare because the end is near.
And I don't care if the money is worthless if we take care of one another.
And that is a thought and emotion loop that you are stuck in. But it is a projection of a timeline that may or may not come true. And your giving attention to it will empower it.
Okay.
So what has been asked of you through the channel you are leaning so heavily on at this time is that you, if at all possible, position yourself to be as independent from systems, worldly systems, as is reasonable for you. And so that you may do, but without projecting some doomsday scenario.
Well, see, I don't see it as a doomsday scenario. I just see that our politics has to crash, our money system is going to crash and everything. But out of the ashes, we will, and we will come apart. We will come out of this. We will come to a place to where we take care of one another.
Well, that is the story you're writing and the ending you're writing.
Right.
Others may write the story differently.
Right.
Others may imagine that politics will be revolutionized or replaced with a different sort of democracy.
Right.
and so on.
When I say they crash, that's what I mean is they crash and then we change it. That's what I mean. I think that, unfortunately, and I need to look at this, I understand, but when I look at the way the things are going in the world, we human beings tend to wait till the very last minute to try and fix anything, and things have to get really bad before we make changes. That looks like the experience that I've seen in the past. Okay, yes, it can change, and maybe I need to see it differently. I understand that. So I will do that. But my thought was that if we were in 5 years, this would be heaven on earth. That was my outcome. But yes, I understand that we can have heaven on earth without having all that happen. So, okay. Thanks for helping me see that. But there are patterns of energy leading towards a certain outcome. Doesn't mean it'll happen, but if it just seems like if you look at what's going on in the world, there's a war going on. 2023, there's a war going on.
The war is a war frequency. And so you know how to win the war.
By changing my thoughts, my frequency?
Yes.
Okay.
And so, yes, there is a war. Yes, what the young one said about Orion is correct. So the war is a war for your thoughts and your consciousness, for your vibration, and you know how to win the war. By giving your attention, we're not saying to be in denial or to disregard reality or truth, but you already know how to shift the tide of this frequency war, and it's through your own meditation and your own light emanation. But you simply don't believe you're that powerful.